6 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. I don't know how old I look, Robin. I really don't know how old I look. The reason I think, because I feel very young. I feel the same as I did when I was 16, 17. I really do. But you know, when I go pay at McDonald's, sometimes they give me the senior discount, and I go, "You're kidding? Do I really look that old to you?" "Yes, sir, you do. Sorry." And then and then you get your hamburger and go sit down.
Yeah, right. Or go eat in the car.
Yeah. When did I get old? All right, but I have peers my own age, right, who I grew up with on Facebook. This is how I keep up with them. And I have a friend, and I'm telling you, he looks way older than me. He's aged way more than me. Okay. Right? I'm just saying, but I could be wrong. Maybe he looked at me and said, "Oh my gosh, Larry looks so old."
Yeah.
But I have some women friends on my Facebook too that I remembered as young when they were young girls. And they look young. I think there's something about being a woman that keeps you young. I'm not really sure. Dr. Elissa Epel is on the phone. I just had a very, very short chat with her before we went on the air, and she's written a very fascinating book. It's called The Telomere Effect. It's described as a revolutionary approach to living younger, healthier, and longer. Just to give you a few credentials before we say hello, Dr. Epel is a leading health psychologist. She studies stress, aging, and obesity, 3 subjects I know a little bit about. That was a joke, waiting for the laugh. She's the director of the University of California, San Francisco's Aging, Metabolism, and Emotion Center. By the way, the girl I know is in San Francisco. It might have something to do with San Francisco.
That could be.
She's the associate director of Center for Health and Community, the recipient of numerous awards from Stanford University. Wow, it goes on and on and on. She's got a lot of credentials here.
Yeah,
let's just say hello, Dr. Elissa Epel. Good morning, doctor. Thank you for being on the air with us today.
Hello, Larry and Robin. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I'm 61. What do you think? How do I look?
How old, Larry, how old do you feel physically? How old do you feel like you are?
Well, right now.
Forget about look. What's your energy level?
Inside,
and your
I am. Yeah, I can't run too well, but I feel I feel like a kid, and it works against me sometimes.
So I'll tell you, most people feel around their age or younger, and about 10% of people feel older than their age, and that's not a good thing. Those people tend to get sicker and die earlier. So how we feel is important.
And what contributes to that, to the latter, to the person who feels older? Is it hard?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
That's a great question. What do you think? Well, the answers I don't know, but what do you think goes into that?
Well, I'm wondering if sadness, like if somebody lost a spouse, like with the Carrie Fisher, Debbie Reynolds story the other day, last week. The mom, I mean, she was up there in age, but she always looked youthful. And then her daughter dies, and she dies. Maybe there's something to that, right?
Well, that tragic death is actually well known to the scientific literature. So when spouse dies, the other spouse is at very high risk of dying in those next few months, usually from a heart event. And so having your daughter die, that's even more unnatural. Having a child die,
right?
That's even more painful. So this feeling old is important. But the other thing is having views of aging that are positive. That actually is protective. And the book we wrote, the reason we wrote it was because we've been looking at a biomarker of aging, these telomeres in our blood, and they are associated with a whole range of things we do every day. So different lifestyle, different mindsets, these are either accelerating the cell aging system or slowing it down. And so that's important information for people to know.
Okay, so you have something in the book. I'm sorry, Robin, I didn't mean to step on your words, but premature aging of cells. So that's a reality. That really happens?
Well, that's exactly what you're describing. You kind of see it on the outside, and what matters even more is, of course, health on the inside. And we have dramatically different rates of aging on the inside. Obviously, our chronological age, our years of living, is our big predictor of when we get sick. But the telomeres even independent of age. We control for age in all these studies, and these telomeres predict diseases of aging pretty reliably. And so we want to know what slows them, and we want to know what we can do every day. So I think that accelerated aging is something we Americans like to do. Our American diet accelerates that along even further. Obesity has a small effect. It's really more about the health of our metabolism inside, like what's our glucose and insulin.
And you have a good example of that in the book between the two ladies, Lisa and Kate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they're, the two women, similar age, and I think that why one looks a lot older than the other could be due to a lot of reasons. But one of the things that's happened to these two women is they've both had a lot of wear and tear from different life events and stress, but one of them responds to it very differently and maybe has had depressive responses, and the other one is just more stress resilient. So how we think about stressful events and how we cope with them is definitely one of those factors that can speed along or slow down the aging.
So the telomere is an actual thing that you can study, correct?
Right. We can measure it in the blood, and we do that in studies, and then we kind of average them all and say, okay, what, in this group of like caregiving women, people who are all under a lot of stress, what about their life or their personality is related to the faster aging profile. And things like personality pop out, so being more optimistic and less pessimistic is better for your cell aging. And for men, it turns out hostility is particularly important. So being more hostile speeds up the cell aging. Now, the thing is, we can't really change our personality, right? This is a lot of what's come down through the genes and what our life experience has shaped. But being aware of it is the key. So what is your stress response style, and how hostile are you? How much do you ruminate? You can become aware of all of these personal tendencies you have, and that helps. That actually helps you manage them and not react to them.
That makes sense, actually. So I'm just going to take a shot at this as an amateur, as a psychology 101 or psychology in kindergarten student here. So if you have identical twins, let's say they're both male, but they have different life paths. One becomes maybe more successful than the other. One has more hardships than the other, et cetera, et cetera. One would look older than the other, after they got to be 60 or so?
Good. Okay, so that's the question. It's a great question. And the answer is yes and no. So in general, the more big stressful things that happen to us, the more telomeres shorten. But not if we're doing a little bit of the right stuff every day. So people who are doing, getting a bit sweaty, even if it's just for 10 minutes, doing some activity, eating a healthier diet, so less of the hamburgers and the processed meat and the soda, those shorten telomeres, and more of the whole foods diet, meaning fruits and vegetables and kind of plant-based diet. That's protective, and getting good sleep. So if you can take better care of yourself, lots of bad things can happen to you, and your telomeres can stay strong and robust. So that's the health behavior side, and then there's another side, which is how are you letting the stress really get to you, and are you ruminating a lot, or are you able to manage it with less stress to your cells? What I mean by that is, letting things happen that you don't keep reliving in the mind. And for that, there are lots of different ways we talk about in the book, different ways to think about stress, view stress, have it more gentle and less severe effect on our body.
In your studies, have you actually began a study with the baby in utero, and then when that baby was born and starts to grow up, have you been able to do that?
So, Robin, that's a study that we're trying to do now. We'd love to do, so we've got grants, to do that. But what we do know is that when the baby comes out of the womb, if his mom has been under a lot of stress, his telomeres are shorter. And there's some other things too that we know about. So mom's nutrition, mom's mental health matter. And then we know in little kids it does matter. If they have short telomeres, they're more likely to develop like the very earliest signs of heart disease. So they do matter in kids. And so it is exactly as you suggested. We think that this aging system starts early in life and tracks through life. We can protect our kids starting by healthy, protecting women of childbearing age, helping pregnant mothers be healthier and less stressed. So it all starts really early.
We're up against the break, and if you can just hang in with us, I want to continue this conversation on the other side of the break. Fascinating stuff. The book is called The Telomere Effect. Am I saying it right? Telomere?
Yep, that's it.
Telomere
no one
effect.
knows what that is.
No, nobody knows what it is, and I wanted to ask you more about that. So that's the book, and it's just a rather comprehensive book. It's a rather large book. Dr. Elissa Epel is on the phone with us, and I apologize if I said your name wrong, Doctor. We will take a tiny break. Let me see, and we'll be right back. This is The Source, WOCA Ocala.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. Remaining mostly sunny for the rest of the day. An afternoon high 65 to 68. A clear and moonlit night for tonight with a low 44 to 52. Partial sunshine tomorrow, high 74 to 77. And a partly sunny day Wednesday, high 78 to 81. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Kevin Snyder.
Hi, I'm Seth with AA Lock, Dock, and Security. Have you ever thought about the locks or security on your house or business? Have you ever wondered why the keys to your new car cost so much? Well, at AA Lock, Dock, and Security, we can help with securing your valuables. We can even replace those expensive transponder keys. We can give you the knowledge that no one else will. Call AA Lock, Dock, and Security at 867-1965. That's 867-1965.
When you go into Automax, Marion County's #1 pre-owned dealer for over 15 years, you won't take the new car depreciation because Automax saves you thousands on late model vehicles. Browse the inventory online at automaxocala.com. Then come down to see the great vehicles and upfront pricing in person. Compare up to 60 models inside the climate control showroom. So take your time. No high pressure, no gimmicks, no games. On the corner of 17th and Easy Street. Automax. Quality cars, outlet prices.
Here's what you may have missed on the John Tesh Radio Show.
Many parents-to-be apparently want their kids to have the most powerful names around. Popular right now are mythological names from gods and goddesses: Jupiter, Luna, Pandora, and Zeus. Falling in love does more than just give us butterflies. It gives us stress, insomnia, and it makes us feel drunk. As long as the food you're eating is healthy, it is perfectly fine to eat the same things over and over.
Intelligence for your life on the John Tesh Radio Show. Don't miss this stuff.
19 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Dr. Elissa Epel is on the phone. The book that she is promoting is the book she wrote. It's called The Telomere Effect, and there's a co-writer, Dr. Elizabeth Blackburn, and it's the subtitle, A Revolutionary Approach to Living Younger, Healthier, Longer, and those words right there is what everybody wants. The one thing I wanted to mention, Doctor, is this. And okay, we broadcast from a mall, a shopping mall, okay? Mm-hmm. And this particular mall, hope I don't offend anybody right now, but this particular mall is in kind of an older area. So the people who come to this mall, although it doesn't seem that way now because I'm older.
Yeah.
But years ago, I used to say this because we have another town just north of us, which is a college town. And I used to say, like when I was maybe in my 40s, that if I went to that mall, I would feel old because it was college kids. And if I came to this mall, I would feel young because it was older folks. and so it was kind of like the Einstein way of looking at age. It's all relative. Does that affect us psychologically? In other words, am I better off if I hang out with old people because I'll feel young?
I think you will feel good if you're connected and kind to the people you hang out with. How's that for an answer?
That's a great answer. Yeah.
When you and Dr. Blackburn were writing the book, were there any scenarios where you and she had a disagreement and then you had to come to and understanding about it to put it in the book?
Well, it's a good question. My co-author, Elizabeth Blackburn, she'd won the Nobel Prize for discovering this cell aging system decades ago, and she's a basic scientist, and I'm the behavioral scientist, so I'm a psychologist. So we definitely have very different backgrounds of what we know. Our expertise is different. So in a way, it's just kind of two pieces of a puzzle that came together. I think when we wrote the diet part, it was challenging because here's the thing with diet. We know what pops out as good for telomeres in the studies, but we don't know if we should tell people to take this pill or what. And the reason is everyone's different. And if you really, really want to get in deep there and do the right thing for your body, you probably need to see a nutritionist and get blood tests. And so so I was kind of going out on a limb, wanting to say, you should take this and that pill. And then she convinced me to step back and say, we're not doctors. We're going to admit that the nutrition literature changes all the time. It's not a good hard science yet about what we need to supplement with. What we really know is that eating the healthy diet and, more toward the Mediterranean diet, less toward the American diet, that is what's related to long telomeres. That's what pops out in every study, and it's better than pills. So multivitamins may help, but eating the right foods definitely helps. So we don't suggest any pills except for vitamin D. Most of us are deficient. Down there in Daytona, you guys may actually not be deficient. So it depends on how much sun you get. But for a lot of people, they need that. For elderly people, they may need iron supplements, but you've got to get that tested because you don't want too much.
Yep.
See, that nudist resort is advertising. Wait a minute. This is true. There's a nudist resort here that advertises that come to our resort and you'll get more vitamin D.
That's right.
Right? Because your skin is exposed to the sun.
Yeah, everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Vitamin D is really important.
D has a different meaning. All right, so I wanted to tell you a line from the book that I'll take with me forever, and I hope I abide by what it says. It says, this is in the book, simply reducing sugars, even if you eat the same number of calories, can lead to metabolic improvements.
Gosh.
That's pretty a powerful statement, isn't it?
I would say.
It's amazing. I'll say there's still a little controversy in the nutrition field, but this sugar, the refined sugar, and particularly the drinks, are just rising to the top as one of the most toxic things we can do for our body. It's amazing. So that study you just referred to, my colleague here at UCSF, Rob Lustig, he gave kids a sugar-free diet, no fructose, for 10 days, cleared out their system. Their pre-diabetes improved, their liver fat reduced. The liver fat's really bad. That's where we store a lot of the fat when we have soda and sugared drinks.
Oh, really?
So anyway, this is big. We banned soda at all of our UCSF campuses. Our medical school, our hospital, you can't buy sugared soda.
So
we're serious about this. We're really serious.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm thinking, okay, so if I had, let's say, a 300-calorie piece of cake or something, got lots of sugar in it, and instead I had a 300-calorie, bread is like cake, right? So you don't want to put bread either. Mm-hmm. So 300-calorie, I don't know, what would be a 300-calorie?
Tuna salad without the mayonnaise.
Is mayonnaise bad for you?
Tuna on lettuce.
Mayonnaise has no sugar in it,
It's calories. Oh, that's right.
So here's the thing. I would worry less about fat. Try to have the plant-based fats, like the olive oil. So don't worry so much about fat. Worry about sugar. It is everywhere. It's hidden. But those sweets, have them once in a while. Few of us can be totally abstinent. The thing is, once we start eating less of it, we crave it less. And it's just like a different railroad track we've got to get onto, because the more you eat it, the more you crave it, the more dependent you are on it. We know it's partly addictive, particularly for some people. So in the book, we give people some ways to control their sugar cravings, because boy, we all need help with that. So we have kind of an audio on our website and the script in the book to actually help you ride out that. We call it surfing the urge. You ride out that wave when you thinking of that chocolate cake and you have to have it, and your rational brain turns off and you want to march over and get it,
Right.
we give you ways to take that pause and to ride out that craving till it's gone.
I just wrote that down. I'm gonna get a T-shirt that says "Surfing the Urge."
I like it. Send me one.
There you go.
All right, let me take a phone call. Good morning. Thank you for calling and for waiting. You're on the air with Dr. Elissa Epel.
Yes, thanks for taking my call. Doctor, what is your feelings on having a glass or two of red wine in the evening, or maybe a bottle or two of beer during a football game or after cutting the lawn?
Well, so my personal feelings are it's probably not so harmful, especially if you're staying at 1 or 2. It is calories. And the wine we know has, is full of these antioxidants and these chemicals that are actually good for us. But the data on the cell aging, which is really what I'm got the, what our book is on and what I have been studying, it looks like the alcohol, and it doesn't matter what kind, if you're getting close to 4 a day, that's bad news, and that shortens telomeres. So it's not surprising, but extreme drinking is definitely speeding up our aging.
Thank you for the call. So if I don't know this for a fact, but I thought I heard somewhere that alcohol becomes sugar in your body. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that accurate?
So the way our liver, there's something very similar between what happens in our body and in our liver in alcohol and in sugar. And our liver becomes fat. It's called, when it's sugar, it's called non-alcoholic NAFLD, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And when it's due to alcohol, it's liver disease.
Really?
And we know, that's the original cause we knew more about. Now we know that you can get it from diet.
My goodness. All right, I'm going to stop.
Wow.
I'm going to really try to stop this. So here's the big question. Is bread and like pasta, I love pasta.
Mm-hmm.
And I love,
me too.
So is bread and pasta in the same category as cake?
So, in moderation, and these things are fine. The refined flours are worse than the whole grains. Go for the whole wheat if you can. Be light on the pasta. So we don't, suggest extreme of anything, but obviously people who really cut out a lot of carbs do better on weight. So I hope go to the eating section. It's called metabolism, and at the back of that we have some ways to check in right before you eat and just rate your hunger and fullness. It helps you choose the right amount of pasta, not overeat it. We call it mindful eating.
Mm-hmm. All right, the book is right here, and I have it to give away. So if you would like the one that was sent to me, you can call me and ask for it, and it'll be yours. It's called the Telomere Effect, TELOM, as in Mary, ERE, Telomere Effect. And so call me right now, and I'll put your name on it. It'll be yours. The rest of us have to buy it. And Dr. Epel, can you give us a website?
Sure. It's www.telomereeffect.com. TELOMERE effect, EFFECT. TelomereEffect.com.
Okay, TelomereEffect.com. Doctor, thank you for being on the air with us today. I'm taking some of this information for the rest of my life. Hopefully I'll use it.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right, we will take a little break and be right back.
Fox News Radio, I'm Pat O'Neill. The man charged in the deadly shooting at the Fort Lauderdale airport making his first court appearance.